to this little triptych of videos on the subject of DACs. What I started when I wanted to compare the Topping D93 versus the S.M.S.L EX 400 was basically, is there a difference between a Sabre chip and an AKM chip between those two Delta Sigma DACs? And as I mentioned in part 2, we had a lot of really interesting feedback, and some people were saying, well, why don't we compare with a ladder DAC, an R2R ladder DAC, because they're more musical and they've got more air or whatever. So then I thought, well, yes, let's do that. And as you probably know by now, in part 2, I got hold of a Denafrips Pontus 15th anniversary edition and I talked about that. Well, today is the day we're going to put it to the test. In a few minutes' time, I'm going to record the outputs of all these DACs straight from the output to my trusty Roland R88. Here it is. This is a very simple device. I use it for all my classical music recordings. It's very portable. It has 8 channels in. And basically, I'm just going to get the output, the balanced outputs of each DAC, plug it into here and record it. I'm going to record it in 44.1, so the files aren't too big, and also in line with the CDs. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload those files to our website, and then you will be able to download them all free of charge. And you can then compare. Now, of course, what are you doing when you're comparing? You're comparing the output of a DAC recorded onto a device which itself has a DAC and then played back on your system which also has a DAC. So you're not going to hear what that DAC will sound like in your system exactly, but you will hear the differences, hopefully. Let's address 2 points here, differences and then what you're going to be listening to. If this device, my Roland device, is accurate, if it does a good job, if it follows all the laws of mathematics and physics, it should give an almost perfect copy of the output of the DAC. And if your DAC is doing its job properly, you should get a perfect copy of that. But of course, we have now learned that each DAC has a certain sound characteristic, which leads me to the other point. The differences between DACs, like Darko, like lots of people say, is very, very small indeed. And in fact, it's a bit weird that we even discuss DACs because really the difference is very small. The problem is, once you've heard a difference, you can't unhear it and you will form a preference. And it might be psychoacoustic because you like the look of one DAC over the other. But for example, with the sound examples I'm going to record for you, on the cycles one, which we will only upload for copyright reasons, in this video I'm just going to play a few in-room recordings. In the cycles, for example, listen out to the noise, the mutterings or whatever that the double bass player is playing, because there is certain sound that he's making, and maybe with one DAC it's going to be clearer than another. But does that make it better? Does it make it more musical? Whatever. It's those real subtles. Listen to the decay when a note is hit. How fast does it decay? How long does it linger? Is that longer linger like we hear in the Topping D93, what I hear? Is that a good thing or a bad thing for you? Is there too much air? Is there not enough? There is no right and wrong in this. And I just want to put something out here. This is a Roland R88 machine. It's used a lot in video recordings, in live recordings, and I use it. And no one has ever complained or questioned the quality of my recordings, the actual technical quality. And so we know that the microphone amplifiers and the DAC in here is good. But think about it. Look how small it is. It's very light. It's nothing at all. It's nowhere near as heavy as the Denafrips. In here, we've got 8 inputs. We've got 8 outputs at the back. We've got time sinks for video cameras. We've got mix outputs. We've got all sorts of technology in this, and a DAC, of course, and a complete mixing panel on the front and mastering. And it's quiet. And it sounds great. So we shouldn't exaggerate either. So it doesn't mean to get a good system at home, you've got to have the €2,000 Pontus, or you've got to have a 10,000 or 17,000 euro DAC from whoever, even more sometimes. You just need to have one that's doing its job. And if you don't hear the difference between them, great, well, that's good luck for you. But when you do hear a difference, and when you do imagine, well, what component do I want to put in the system? Well, I hope this video might lead you in a certain direction and help you to choose and make up your own mind. Now, those of you who saw part 2, when I'm talking about the Denafrips, will know very well that the Denafrips, I like it very much. I like its build quality. I like its design ethic. I like the idea of the ladders, all of those things. So that makes me biased towards it. And so I'm not going to say any more on that topic. I just want to admit that, you know, maybe I am a bit biased. Maybe I will choose this one over the others because, yeah, I don't know. There's some symbiotic connection between me and the design of that machine. But there's one machine that I'm overlooking, and this is the Sugden DAC. If you remember, in the first video, I compared the Topping and the S.M.S.L, but I also slipped in a recording of the Sugden. It's a DAC DAC-4 or DAP800 if you have it with its built into its preamplifier, which is the version I have here. Now, they're both the same, and I've checked with Sugden. And they've got a TDA1543 chip. And this is a really, really famous Philips invented chip. It comes after the 5.1, I believe. And the difference was the 3 allowed to have oversampling. So you could go 16 times oversampling and all these wonderful things. But Sugden don't use any of that. And now I want to let you into a little secret. They use 2. They use 1 for each channel, but also it's a ladder DAC. The chip itself is based upon a series of resistors, just like we saw in part 2 in the ladder. But they're just built into the chip, that's all. So in a way, you can definitely say it's an R2R DAC, and it follows the architectural principle of a ladder, but of course it's all on chip. Now, Sugden go to great lengths to say they don't do any oversampling, they don't do any jiggery pokery there, because they have their own digital circuit design that basically streamlines what they want to go into that chip. So when it comes out at the other end, it should sound natural and airy and all of the adjectives that they use. But ultimately, it's for you to decide which one you think sounds best. So in that first video, there was an R2R DAC in it. I just wasn't completely sure. And now I know for certain how it is. And I'll put in a link to the TDA1543 chip technical documents. So for the technical ones of you, you can check it out and see what it's capable of. But that doesn't mean that's how Sugden have implemented it. So let's get on with the comparison. We're going to do the Claire Teal track as always. I've got you under my skin. It's a wonderful track. It was recorded in one take with a direct cut to vinyl. We're obviously listening to the digital version. Again, a big thank you to Chasing the Dragon Records and Mike Valentine for letting us use this, because it really helps us. But please go to pearlacoustics.com, go into the shop, go into the music and downloads, and you'll find in there all the outputs, the WAV files directly from the back. And what I will do is, over time, if I get another DAC that comes into the listening room and I think, you know what, that's interesting, well, I might just record that one too and add that. So maybe watch out, maybe in 6 months or a year's time, there'll be additional ones. And I'll let you know that probably via Facebook is probably the best way if I add another one. Okay, well, let's get on. We'll start with, let's start with the Denafrips 15th anniversary edition. It is their anniversary year, of course, with Claire Till, I've Got You Under My Skin. So, here we go.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've got you under my skin. I've got you in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've got you under my skin. I've got you in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've got you under my skin. I've got you in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've got you under my skin. I've got you in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin.
Well, I hope you found those in-room comparisons interesting. Now go to pearlacoustics.com, go to the shop and download all the files directly recorded from the outputs of each DAC, and then really decide for yourself. Put on a good pair of headphones, or if you've got a nice setup at home, pop it on and listen to them back and make a decision. And I'd love to know what your favorites are and why they're your favorite. What did you like about each one, or what did you not like about it? Thanks very much for watching. If you have been watching, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the music.